good introduction, Hilary. Hi, I'm Natan. I'm interested in protein folding and protein design. And today, I'm going to talk about how it can truly unlock the field of protein design. There are a ton of proteins in our body. In fact, there are over 100,000 different types of proteins in our body. To truly understand how many we have, if we were to scale every protein up to the size of a penny, we would have enough to fill up the entire Pacific Ocean. Proteins start as a long linear chain of amino acids. Inside this chain of amino acids, there's a special code. We call it the protein folding code. And this code ensures that of all the possible structures that a protein can adopt, it will always adopt its correct shape, or the functional shape. And it is the structure of these proteins that end up allowing them to do their specific function. Take for example, hemoglobin. In our lungs, hemoglobin has a specific structure that allows us to intake an oxygen molecule. When it travels to a muscle, the structure of hemoglobin changes slightly, allowing it to release that oxygen molecule and give oxygen to our muscles. What if I told you we could design our own amino acid sequences, and by virtue, our own proteins? With breakthrough computer technologies such as Rosetta and AlphaFold, developed by teams led by David Baker at the University of Washington and Demis Hassabis at Google DeepMind, we have unlocked the era of protein design. We can now design proteins that act as vaccines, therapies, drug delivery vehicles, and even biomaterials. But there is one specific problem. David Baker's team said that they only have a 15% success rate with their design proteins. While we have an unimaginably large space that we can explore, which is 20 times 20 or 100 times different types of possible protein combinations, or 10 to the 130, nature has only allowed us to explore 10 to the 21st. This is because there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between the proteins that we can there's a huge difference between the proteins in the lab and the proteins in our body. One thing is they interact differently because molecules in our body cause the proteins to fold incorrectly or fold differently, meaning that we need to effectively simulate and figure out how they actually fold. What I believe is the key to unlocking this is molecular dynamic simulations. These allow us to simulate how a protein works in our body all on our computers. Instead of relying on experimental techniques that are, one, costly and time ineffective, we can find effective protein candidates all in our computers. There's one specific issue though. Molecular dynamic simulations are really slow. They can only run for 2 femtoseconds. This is a challenge because proteins fold on a microsecond scale, meaning that we need these simulations to run millions or billions of different times. Thus, while these simulations in theory are very accurate and can accurately simulate how a protein folds or works in our body, they end up sacrificing that accuracy just for speed, going from atomic level detail to a more coarse-grained or simplified expression. My work lies in trying to fix this problem. We should not have to sacrifice accuracy for speed. We should be able to have both in tandem. I first got interested in this field of protein folding and protein design after reading Google DeepMind's paper on AlphaFold, and I immediately got super interested in predicting my own protein structures. Here's one such example. The blue here indicates that my predicted model structure aligned well with the actual structure of the protein, which can be publicly found anywhere. I then went on to study how proteins interact with other molecules in our body. Take for example this. This is an enzyme in our body, and that ball-like structure is aspirin, which is a molecule that can bind to this protein in all these different places. And then I also looked to find the most optimal place, or the place with the highest binding energy. After I got a solid understanding of protein structure prediction and protein interactions, I then moved on to tackle this problem. And right now, I'm looking at 2 possible solutions. One is implementing a split GPU and CPU algorithm for these molecular dynamic simulations, and the other is simulating them on a quantum framework. I truly believe that unlocking molecular dynamic simulations and having us to not have to sacrifice accuracy for speed will allow us to truly unlock the field of protein design. We'll be able to use the basic building blocks of our life, or what I like to call the Legos of our world, in order to make vaccines that are way more potent, in order to make drugs that are way less toxic and way more biocompatible, and to make drug delivery vehicles that are way more targeted and accurate. On top of that, unlocking protein design will allow us to find out more questions, to find out more answers about proteins themselves. We'll better understand how proteins fold in our body. We'll also better understand how they interact with other molecules, and how that linear sequence of amino acids actually encodes for the structure and the function. So thus, if we can truly harness the power of molecular dynamic simulations and all that they promise, a reality in which we can use proteins, the Legos of our world, to solve some of the most complex biological problems will finally be a realistic reality. Thank you.